Understanding the root cause of trauma in your relationships, why you keep getting triggered in your relationships, and why people continue to attract the same patterns in their relationships without doing anything about it. I'm going to explain to you why this all happens so you can understand it, be aware of it, and as always, I'm going to give you the solutions to the problem so you actually have something to take action on. Because if you are listening to podcasts and consuming books and doing seminars and doing self-growth, and not doing any integration or any processes or taking action, it's called mental masturbation. And I'm not a fan of that. I'm a fan of learning. I love learning, but I'm also a massive, massive component of taking action, integration, and execution. So you're going to get both of those from me today. If you're new to my content, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Lewis. I'm an author. I'm a coach. I'm a speaker. I've coached over 6,000 people. I've written a book. It's called The Inspired Life Method. Go grab yourself a copy. And yeah, I've coached people for 10 years now, coached over 6,000 people. And I love helping people find their purpose, heal trauma, which is the topic of today, and create a life that they love, especially in relationships. So with that being said, I'm going to rip straight into the content. Enjoy. I speak quickly, so you might have to listen to this a couple of times, but there's going to be a ton of value here for you guys today. So enjoy and take some notes if you're going to take some notes. So let's kick it off. What is trauma? So there's a couple of definitions that I like. So Dr. Gabor Mate, he says, trauma is not what happens to you, it's what happens inside of you. French kiss. Absolutely agree to that. Another mentor of mine, Dr. Sarah Woodhouse, she says, trauma is unprocessed memories. Mwah. Again, French kiss. Dr. John D. Martini says, anything you experience outside of love and gratitude is a lopsided perception. Sit with that. And my definition of trauma, it's a moment in time when something was too much or not enough. Something was painful, something was wrong, something shouldn't have happened. Now, I like to hold people accountable so we can actually work from it and do something about it. The thing that trauma is, it's a trait or a behavior. Someone did something or didn't do something that was painful, wrong, too much, or not enough. Let me give you a list of examples. Could be rejection, abandonment, neglect, criticism, anger, lying, dismissed, and the list goes on. There's 4,628 character traits that human beings can display. Now, whatever ones were painful for you in your life, especially childhood, mum and dad, and just childhood, you generally have more trauma because you're more sensitive to it. Okay, you can obviously pick up trauma all throughout your life, but you generally have more in childhood because you're just so sensitive to it, because you can't protect yourself as much compared to when you're older, right? Something that's traumatic to a 3-year-old may not be traumatic to a 23-year-old. Maybe, maybe not. So that's what trauma is. Let me use an example. So I'll let you find some of yours right now so you can actually use that for this podcast so you can connect some dots for yourself. Let's do it. So let's start with mum and dad. Now, don't judge your answers. I do this exercise quite frequently. Don't judge your answers. Just speak your truth. It's all good. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about your parents. Don't judge your answers. And you can only use one-word answers to answer the question. Let's start with dad. Think of dad. Whoever played that role for you. In a one-word answer, what's the one thing you dislike most about dad? Or what's the one thing that triggers you most about dad? Or what's the one thing you wish you could change about dad? You might need some time, so pause this podcast. Think of the words: anger, lying, controlling, manipulating, dismissing, victim, silence, abandoned, rejected, list goes on, okay? There's obviously many, 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 many traits you could have. Now, pause the video if you need more time. Then I want you to do the same for mum. So what's the one thing you dislike most about mum? What's the one thing that triggers you most about mum? Or what's the one thing that you wish you could change about mum? Pause the video, do the same thing. One-word answers. One-word answers. Excuse me. Whatever those words that you came up with, those are, quote, traumas of yours. Those are wounds of yours. Those are things that you get triggered by when someone does them to you. They're things that you run away from and you run into. Those are wounds of yours. These are things that you attract into your relationships. Let that sink in for a moment. Whatever word you came up with, can you see how you've attracted those traits and behaviors into your relationships? It gets a bit deeper than that, but let's keep rolling. Whatever you haven't healed from, you attract into your life. Now, the reason why I don't call myself a relationship coach necessarily, I do a lot of help for people within their relationships. I call myself a transformation coach because I love helping people find their purpose, find their true authentic self, remove limiting beliefs, heal trauma, and create a life that they love. And obviously, relationships are a piece of that for a lot of people. But the reason my work shows up a lot in relationships is that your relationships are the ultimate mirrors to you. Your relationships will mirror you more than anything else. That's why they trigger you. So there's 3 pieces I want you to understand. There's 3 pieces. Number 1 is trauma. It's what we just spoke about. It's those traits or behaviors that you don't like within others, that people have done to you that were painful, that were too much, that were not enough, that you get triggered by, that you project and judge onto others. Bonus question. Think of someone that you don't like. Just whoever comes to mind, don't use your mum and dad because we just use them. Think of someone that you don't like. Could be a boss, an ex-partner, current partner, friend, family, sibling, doesn't matter. Think of that person. In a 1-word answer, what's the one thing you dislike most about that person? It might be, ironically, one of the ones you just said about mum and dad, or it might be a different one, which is fine. So, again, that answer, whatever came up for you just then, that is another wound of yours. Now, 3 things I want you to understand. Trauma is what we just went through. It's those traits and behaviors that you don't like, that you get triggered by, and that you project onto others. Your perception is a projection. What you don't like in others is a projection from you, which is coming from your lopsided perceptions towards those traits and behaviors. That's what trauma is. Second is coping mechanisms. This is what gets really slippery. It's essentially the patterns that you create to overcompensate, protect, and hide yourself from the trauma. So for example, let's say you have one around rejection. This is a very common one. This may hit home for a lot of you. If you have a wound around rejection or abandonment, being misunderstood, some version of those, very often a coping mechanism that people develop with that wound is to put other people's needs ahead of your own. That's known as people pleasing. Very common, well, people pleasing is a coping mechanism. Very commonly, people pleasers have a rejection, an abandonment, or a misunderstood wound, or a version of those traits. Interesting, right? And if you're a people pleaser, you're probably nodding your head being like, holy fuck, how does he know this? Because that was me. That's what I used to do. That was one of my coping mechanisms. So you got trauma, you got coping mechanisms. It's what you do to overcome, protect, and hide yourself from the trauma. It's your patterns that you develop. And third is a trigger. A trigger is something that reminds you of the trauma and activates the coping mechanism. What probably my most used quote, nothing triggers you, it reveals what's inside of you. So why does this all relate to relationships and why the trauma or the root cause of your trauma is magnified in relationships? It's because of what I said just before. Your partners are going to mirror you deeper than anyone else. Because right now, if you're new to me, you've now spent, 10 minutes with me right now? You don't know me that well. If for people that have followed me for a while, thanks for following me, I appreciate that. I try to be pretty vulnerable and authentic with my content. I've cried on camera authentically. I've shared my insecurities, the things that I've had shame around, my trauma that I've healed through. I try to be as transparent and authentic as I can, but you guys don't see the full depths of me compared to my wife. She sees more of me than you see. So because of proximity and because of that level of just awareness that you're going to put on each other, you're naturally going to trigger each other. You guys don't see me when I haven't slept properly, when I've had some family dramas, when I've had some shame come up. I've shared the story before where I was having a shower. I have like meditation in my showers. I have long showers. So sorry, world, for having long showers. But often I'll do some processing, and sometimes I've done this like 2 or 3 times with my wife. I'll be in the shower processing something, and then something that I've had a lot of shame around comes up for me, and I literally just start crying and feeling it because it was quite heavy. And then I'd come out and literally like unload it onto my wife, and she's done so well to handle that as well. And she sees those parts of me. You guys don't see those parts. I share it like I am right now, but you don't see it like firsthand, right? So the reason why your trauma is affecting your relationships, there's a couple of things. Number 1, what you run away from, you run into. So these wounds of yours, these traumas of yours, those words you came up with, they're things that you're constantly trying to run away from. I use this silly example. If I tell you, don't look for a yellow bus. Don't look for a yellow bus. What the fuck are you thinking about? A yellow fucking bus. This is what you're doing with those wounds of yours. You're living life trying to avoid those things. But in doing so, you actually energetically, emotionally attract them. What you run away from, you run into. You will attract people and circumstances to reveal where you haven't healed. It's like you're living your life saying, I'll use rejection as an example. You're living your life unconsciously saying this, saying, I don't want to get rejected. 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 But in doing so, you're looking and attracting someone to reject you. Interesting, right? And if you've been playing along and actually doing the exercises with me, your eyes are probably like popping out of your head right now. You're like, fuck, I keep attracting the things that I don't like in others. Interesting. One of my most popular videos I've posted is that you attract your unhealed trauma into your life, especially your relationships, until you heal through them. So the reason why your unhealed trauma affects your relationships so much, number one, you attract them because you're trying to run away from them and therefore looking for them and then attracting them and then getting triggered by them. So that's the first big piece. The second big piece is what I alluded to before. When your partner mirrors you, because they're going to trigger you more than anything else. And without the right tools and awareness, you've got more awareness because you've listened to this podcast. Thank you very much for being here today. Please like the video, subscribe as well if you're getting value from this. So when you are triggered, if you don't have the awareness of how to regulate your emotions, so I talk about inner work tools. Inner work is healing and dissolving the wounds and blockages that are masking your true self. So there's two types of inner work tools. One type is maintenance tools. It's what we do in the moment to maintain ourselves in the moment. Excuse me. So say you get triggered right now. What do you do to regulate yourself in the moment to get through the moment? Because life goes on, right? The show must go on. If you're at work, if you're in a business meeting, if you're on a sales call, if you're doing something, it's like the show must go on. You can't say, everyone stop what you're doing because I need to work through my shit. It doesn't really work like that, right? So you got to maintain yourself. So breath work, grounding, reframing. You can do an anchoring tool from Tony Robbins uses that a lot with NLP. There's tons of tools you can do to do maintenance tools. In my events, I give you 8 of them. I give you 8 maintenance tools. Then we have progress tools. Progress tools is what we do. We reflect back to find what got triggered to get started with. So what triggered you initially, identify what that trigger is, which will be coming from a wound or a limiting belief of yours, integrate that or process that, then that same thing will stop triggering you. And that's the magic part right there. Once you heal or integrate or address whatever was triggered with a progress tool, then that same thing will stop triggering you. Mwah! That's the magic. When you get to this point, which I'm getting to now, or what I'm talking to you about now, when you're in a relationship where both partners, number one, take responsibility for their own triggers because it's their stuff being revealed, and you both have the tools to regulate yourself in the moment and to address what was triggered, holy shit, you will grow more than anywhere else. You will be initiated into your growth more than anywhere else because your partner is going to mirror your shit back to you more than anything else. So then you stop getting triggered by it. So you stop running into it. You probably know someone, it might actually be fucking you, who's got into a relationship. It doesn't work out. Whatever happens, life happens. And you blame that partner. They're fucking toxic. They're a fucking narcissist. La, 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 la. Blame, blame, blame. Victim, 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 which is what you're doing. And then that probably triggered you. You're welcome. And then that person or you doesn't take responsibility for your own shit, because you attracted them for a season or a lifetime. So you attracted this person based on your unhealed trauma, your unhealed shit. And then you get into another relationship and the same fucking thing happens. Interesting. Who's the common factor? You or this person that you've seen do this? Because they're attracting the parts of them they haven't addressed yet because they're trying to run away from them. I hope this is landing for you. I hope this is making sense. Now, like I said, please, what I suggest to do is to start to equip yourself. Something I'm very passionate about with my work, and I teach it when I teach people, is I'm a big fan of teaching people how to fish, not giving people fish. I don't like it where people go to therapy and number one, a lot of therapy doesn't work because they don't close the loop on trauma. They just talk about it. It's talk therapy, which has its place and it's a good stepping stone. But if you don't actually process or integrate the wound and heal the wound properly, then you're just going to be kicking the can down the road. I've had clients come to me and I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of testimonials of this, of people who've been to therapy for 20 years, 30 years, 45 years with the longest one, and they never healed the actual wound. They do one process with me and we heal it because I know how to close the loop off. So I lost where I was going with that. So my suggestion is get to a point where you equip yourself with all the tools that you need to regulate yourself as best that you can. So when you get triggered, you can regulate in the moment and get through whatever's come up. And then second, address whatever got triggered, heal it, integrate it, process it so it stops getting triggered. Get to that point, holy shit, your life will get better, your relationships will get better, your intimacy gets better, your sex life gets better, your finances, your health, everything gets better because you stop running into yourself and running into your own shit and getting triggered and having sabotaging patterns, and you judge yourself and you shame yourself. And there's so many deeper layers I haven't gone into today. Again, to summarize this, heal, work on yourself. That is how your unhealed trauma plays out in your relationships. You keep attracting it. They're mirrors to you. They're going to mirror your shit to trigger you into coping patterns, and you'll have all these sabotaging shit playing out until you heal it. Take the gift of awareness, which is what a trigger is. A trigger or a projection is revealing a part of you haven't learned to love or heal yet. Heal that part of you so you stop attracting it, you stop getting triggered by it, and you stop having all these coping patterns from the back end of it. I hope this made sense. And how do you do that? Find the right coach or therapist or healer to work with. I would love to serve you. I've got heaps of tools in my book, The Inspired Life Method. If you want to work with me properly, I have a free trial, which comes with a free one-on-one call with me in the link down below on my online program. It's called The Conscious Community. I would love to serve you. If you got value from this, please leave your thoughts below in the comments. What stood out to you? Please like the video, subscribe. It helps me more than you can imagine. And thank you for listening. Share this with a friend as well. Maybe share this with your partner. It's really good. Some people say, how do I get my partner to take responsibility? I say, just send them one of my fucking videos and I'll do that for you. You can't be held accountable to something you're not aware of. Make them aware, then hold them accountable, okay? I hope you're well. I'm sending you love. Thank you for listening. Grab a copy of my book, subscribe, join my community, grab a free trial, grab a free one-on-one call with me. I would love to absolutely serve you and help you find your purpose, find your true authentic self, heal your triggers and wounds and limitations, and create a life that you love in your relationships, your business, etc. I love you guys. Have a great day. Speak soon.